Another key to maintaining our health or achieving health is to look at hormones. Hormones are the messengers in our body. You can think of a hormone as a key, and then of course you have to have the keyhole, which is a receptor. So these hormones float around in your blood until they find their keyhole. Once that connection is made, then a signal is sent to your DNA. Think of it as typing on your DNA a message. So hormones are vital. When the brain needs to tell the kidney something, or the kidney needs to tell the heart something, or the pancreas needs to send a message, this is how our body communicates. It sends hormones out. One of the key hormones is the thyroid hormone. The thyroid is a gland in your neck. It secretes a hormone called T4. T4 floats around in your bloodstream, and it comes up to a cell, and you have 60 to 70 trillion cells in your body. And every cell in your body needs to perform a vital chemical reaction to produce energy. And what you do is take oxygen from what you breathe in, add it to glucose, which is from what we eat, to make ATP. ATP is our energy molecule. It's the molecule that gives you your overall energy, but also gives your individual cell energy to perform its role, whether that's your brain cell to fire off at the synapses, or that's your heart cell to pump blood, or your hamstring cell to contract, or whatever cell. All these cells need to do this reaction. Well, just like in the carburetor in your vehicle, you've got the air line bringing your air, and then you've got the fuel line bringing your fuel. Well, you need the spark from the spark plug. In the human body, that spark is T3, a thyroid hormone, another thyroid hormone called T3. But as you recall, I just said we make T4, and T4 floats around in the blood. So T4 comes up to these cells, and it can't get in. There's not a really good keyhole for T4. So T4 has to undergo a conversion over to T3. Once it makes that conversion, then T3 can move right into the cell pretty easily. It doesn't require much energy to perform that. And then it goes in, it's the spark plug, boom, the reaction goes, no problem, you make your energy. A byproduct of this reaction is heat production, which is why I'm so interested in your temperatures. That's why I had you do a basal body temperature log. That's why I'm going to measure various temperatures throughout your body during your exam, because that's the best indirect measurement of your thyroid function. Unfortunately, the blood tests that conventional doctors perform, the TSH and sometimes the T4, is highly inaccurate because it cannot address what's going on inside the cell, which is what matters. And there's various reasons why that blood test says one thing, but inside your cell, and therefore your body and your symptoms, say something else. There's a great book called Why Do I Still Have Symptoms, Low Thyroid Symptoms, When My Lab Tests Are Normal? There's a couple websites and books that you can find on our resource page too that can point you in a direction to learn more about this thyroid hormone. But one thing I want to explain is, back to the conversion of T4, which is the hormone you make, converting to T3, which is the hormone that is most beneficial for us. That conversion is blocked by a number of things. For instance, the standard American diet again, where we consume a lot of sugar, that spikes your insulin level up. That can block your thyroid from functioning properly. Low iron, anemia from low iron, will block this conversion of T4 to T3. Low iodine, and again, there's a great book on iodine by Dr. Brownstein I'll recommend to you. Also toxins, BPA, which is in cans that food comes in, or in the water bottles that we purchase. This is a chemical toxin that blocks that conversion. Mercury also will block the conversion. Flame retardant chemicals that are on our children's pajamas and bedding can block that conversion to T4 to T3. Also low testosterone, low growth hormone can block that conversion. A high estrogen state without enough progesterone. A high cortisol state, which cortisol is our stress hormone. So if you're stressed, emotionally stressed, physically stressed, what I'm getting at is there are a number of things that can block that conversion and impede the intracellular function, that's inside the cell function, of T3. That's just one hormone. There's 20 or 30 other hormones. Insulin's a hormone. When we eat grains and sugars, it spikes our insulin. That spike of insulin has effects on other hormones. Vitamin D is a hormone. Most Americans, 98+% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. That's a hormone that performs a vital role in our immune system, amongst other things. Cortisol is a hormone. Cortisol is our stress hormone. And I'd like to take just a minute to talk about that. We're all under a tremendous amount of stress. Financial stress, marital stress, kids stress, but also physical stress, a gut that's out of balance, the probiotics that are killed off, fungus that's overgrown in the gut. That causes a stress to the body. Any chronic illness, chronic infection, any disease that has inflammation at the root of it, that's a stressor for the body. Cortisol comes from your adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are two small glands that sit on top of your kidneys. The original design by our Creator was for these glands to sit there, the adrenal glands, just sit there and just secrete a little cortisol at various times of the day, just to be a kind of a backbone to our hormone system, our immune system, and just vital bodily functions. However, when a tiger jumps in the room, boom, the adrenals jump into action. The cortisol surges. And it's designed to just surge for a few minutes so you can either kill that tiger, that acute stressor, or run away from that tiger. But in a few minutes after you either killed or ran away from them, then boom, the adrenals shut off, the stress is gone, so the adrenals calm down. Cortisol comes back down to normal. Well, what I find in most of my patients is there's a tiger in their room 24/7. Their adrenal glands are always turned on, and that cortisol is always being pumped out. Well, they're not designed to handle a stress load like that, and the adrenals can basically become fatigued. And you can actually run out of cortisol. When you run out of cortisol, lots of detrimental effects on your health. So that's something that we'll need to look at also. All your hormones need to be balanced properly.